Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a best and worst eyeshadow palettes. Basically, I'm going to give you my top 5 in my collection and my bottom 5 in my collection. The reason I'm doing this is because even though I really like ranking videos, sometimes I think they can get boring, redundant, long. So I thought it would make more sense just to show you guys what I think are the best palettes in my collection and what I think are the worst palettes in my collection. Now, I have gotten a few new eyeshadow palettes lately, so I haven't been able to test those out enough to really have a formed opinion. So none of the ones I've bought recently are going to be in this ranking video, but they could end up in a future one with my top 5 or my bottom 5. But as of now, in my collection, this is my top 5 and my bottom 5. If you guys are into this type of video, let me know down in the comments below what makeup product or skincare product or whatever you might like to see ranked next. Let's get into it. So I think I'm gonna do my bottom 5 first, so that way we can end on a high note. But I will leave a timestamp down below in the description in case you want to skip forward to the top 5 and you don't care about the bottom 5. I'm gonna start off with number 5, meaning this is the best of the worst. So like number 1 is gonna be the worst palette. So this is a really controversial choice, but the mini Natasha Denona Tropic palette. Hey guys. So I realized after I was editing, I made a mistake in my palette ranking. I totally forgot this palette existed, and this should actually be in my bottom 5, not the Natasha Denona one. This would rank below that, and I just real briefly wanted to update you guys. This Pixie by Petra Copper Peach palette should actually be ranked below the Colored Rain one. I totally forgot this even existed. I went through and was decluttering some of my palettes, and I totally forgot this even existed. This I would rank lower. I think this is like $15. I don't think this is worth $15. I got it at TJ Maxx, but I don't use it that much, and I don't think the shadows are the best quality. I never reach for this unless I'm like using a highlighter shade in it. So I would actually rank this in my bottom 5, not the Natasha Denona palette. And to be fair, I have this little Cella Quad that would also rank below the Natasha Denona one. This wouldn't be bottom 5, but I actually found out this is apparently $20. I paid $3 for this on Ipsy's website. So I just wanted to let you guys know both of those actually rank below. The Pixie by Petra one should be in the bottom 5, not the Natasha Denona one. Sorry for the confusion, so let's just get right back to the video. Now, let me just say, I think this palette is good quality. I'm not knocking the quality on it. I just think $25 for these 5 shadows is a bit steep. Okay, next is going to be from Pure Cosmetics. This is their Be Your Selfie palette. Now, I got this on a FabFitFun a while ago. As you can see, this palette is super used. I've had this palette for definitely over a year. I just don't grab for this anymore. I'm actually probably going to declutter it and see if my mother wants it. But back in the day when I used to pretty much only do neutral looks, this was my favorite go-to palette for a really long time. At this point, I rarely grab for neutral palettes that are this large. Typically, if I'm gonna go for a neutral palette, it's gonna be a 4-pan eyeshadow palette, maybe 5. I just need to get some eyeshadow on and go. Because it's so many browns, I just rarely grab for it anymore. Next up, from Colored Rain, I have their Vineyard Soiree eyeshadow palette, and this is a mini. Now, I think this was an Ipsy exclusive, which is why I think this palette is not as good of quality, because I've gotten some single shadows from Colored Rain before, and I actually really liked them, but I didn't like this palette. Here's the palette. I just don't love the performance of these shadows. This packaging is pretty hard to open. Like when I have my nails painted, I can't even open this palette. It smells weird. I don't know what it smells like. It just smells odd. And the matte shades are very lackluster. There are only 2 matte shades in here, so I do wish there was one more matte shade, but they aren't super pigmented. They don't go on very well. The shimmer shades are nice, but you definitely need to use your finger if you really want to pack on that pigment. I don't grab for it a ton. I like that it's small and compact and convenient, but this is not something I would travel with, and I might declutter this one as well. Next up is actually one I got back in the day when I did BoxyCharm. This is from Storybook Cosmetics, and this is their Little Red Riding Hood palette. Now, I believe, if I'm correct, this was made exclusively for BoxyCharm, so that could be why this isn't great. Unfortunately, sometimes in subscription boxes, this was made in the PRC. I don't know for sure if this is normally the quality they would use, but I wasn't super impressed with this palette. I don't think it's necessarily like the worst palette I've ever used. I mean, I think the color story is pretty, but it's just not my favorite palette. I don't like that it doesn't have a highlighter shade. It's 6 shades, no highlight. That annoys me. I always get annoyed when I don't have a highlighter shade. But I did have some patchiness with the basket shade, and I had a lot of patchiness with the red shade when I used it before. The Bad Wolf shade, it's a lot more brown toned than it looks in the pan. It looks a little bit more silvery in the pan, but when you put it on the eyes, it's a lot more brown. Now, I'm not going to declutter this because honestly, I think the packaging is really cute and I kind of display this, but I hardly grab for this and actually use it as an eyeshadow palette. And my least favorite palette that I probably should have decluttered a long time ago, and if you have watched my videos like since I started my YouTube channel, I definitely mentioned this twice. It's the Balm Cosmetics What's the Tea palette. So this is the only eyeshadow palette I've ever tried from the Balm. These eyeshadows for the longest time I could not get to stay on my eyes for more than 2 hours. Like, they were always off my eyes. I had hardly anything on. I got the e.l.f. shadow primer, and that has managed to get them to stay on longer, but they still crease and they still don't last as long as some of my other palettes. So it's not my favorite. I wish it was because I love that it has like this huge mirror, and I really do like the shades, especially these two blue shades. These eyeshadow primers I think are crap. They don't really work on my eyes at all. I tried using them multiple times to get my eyeshadow to work. I don't think they work, which disappoints me because I thought the black one was so different. When I would use the black one to make a look, it always gave it this really cool smoky thing, but if it's only gonna last me like an hour, there's absolutely no point to me using this palette. It's just a shame. I really wish I liked it more. It just has so much potential, and it just disappointed me. So unfortunately, this is the least favorite palette I have currently in my collection. The bottom three are really the ones that I would say save your money. All right, now let's switch over to our top 5 eyeshadow palettes. So coming in at number 5 is a collection of palettes, and you probably already know where this is going if you've been watching my channel. They are the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow palettes. So I currently own every single eyeshadow palette except one, but I love these palettes. I use these palettes almost every single day that I'm not filming. They are great for like a quick on-the-go look. They're very portable. It's so easy just to make a really quick eyeshadow look and then just be done and go. And they're also $3 each. I did factor in price when I was considering a lot of my palettes. These for me come in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I have the Violet Voss Essentials palette. I also got this in a BoxyCharm a long time ago, back in the day. Here's the palette. This used to be my go-to travel palette because it kind of has a nice mix of colors. It's got some neutrals, it has some pops of color, and I just really always liked it. I like that it's got this emerald shade. I think that shade is really, really pretty. I like that it's got the 2 pinks right here and the plum. Those are really complimentary to me. And I like that it does have like the gold and the neutrals because those complement my eyes a lot. I have blue eyes, so when I wear like more neutral shades, it complements me, but like lighter pinks and purples complement my skin tone a little bit more. I feel like it really is an essentials palette. Coming in at number 3 is another BoxyCharm palette I got. I think this was the last month I got BoxyCharm. This is the Ace Beauté Vintage Dawn palette. Here is the color story for that. I really like this palette. I think the shadows perform really well. They're very blendable. I love the color scheme of this palette. I like that it's a sunset and then it's got these blues. I like using the blues a lot underneath the lower lash line to really make the eyes just pop and get the warm colors to pop. And sometimes I'll mix them too on top. I like using Dew as a inner corner highlight, and I love the packaging. I think it reminds me of like the Great Gatsby 1920s. RIP 2020. It's so pretty, and I like that it's got the mirror and everything. So this is one of my favorite palettes. I actually use it quite a bit. I've definitely worn it on camera a few times, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite palettes, and I love picking this one up. Coming in at number 2 is actually my most recent palette purchase that I've had that I feel like I can have a formed opinion on. This is the Pure Raw Beauty Christy palette. Now maybe I'm being biased because I love Christy, but I think this palette is fabulous. And this is honestly the only palette I could travel with. This is the perfect travel palette for me. Here's why. It's got, of course, your neutral side, and I really like some of the neutrals on here. Like, I really like It Just Does. I think that's really pretty coral color. I like Moo Point a lot. I love Camelot, love Golden Ticket. Those are the ones I really pick up a lot on this side. And then you have your other side, which is your colorful side. And I love all the colors on here. I think they're so pretty, and I just really enjoy this palette. I like that it's in recyclable packaging, which is great for the environment. And I like that it's dual-sided so that it's portable, easy to take with you, cute. I like that it's got the mirror in it. That's what helps with the travel friendly part. And I just really enjoy this palette and I use it all the time. I've been trying to wear it less on camera because I'm trying out new palettes and I want to show you guys the palettes I'm trying out. But I absolutely love this. And if you guys at any point want to see another look with this, I would be more than happy to do it because I've been enjoying this palette so much. And my number one favorite eyeshadow palette, which I have on my eyes today, is the IBY Enlightened palette. Now you probably have seen me use this a couple of times in the videos. I really enjoy this palette. It has, first of all, a great mirror. You can see my thumb has made a mark from holding it so much, but here's the palette. I think it's so pretty. It's got these beautiful pops of color, beautiful neutrals, and I think that's just really nice. It has 3 of these like glitter shades, and I think all of them are so beautiful on the eyes. I'm not wearing one of them today, but I do wear them quite a bit. On my eyes today, I have Way, which is underneath right here. I have Dragon Fruit, which is the pink, and that's at the inner corner and also on the lid. I have Peace, which is at the inner corner and the brow bone. I also layered Smoothie on top, so these two on top of Peace. And then I also have on Haiku, which is in the crease, and I have on Sound Bath, which is on the inner portion of the lid. I love this palette. I grab for this palette all the time. This is the other palette other than the e.l.f. palettes that I grab for on a daily basis because I just really love this palette. The shadows are so pigmented. They're so nice. They blend out like a dream, and this palette is 25 bucks. $25 for 20 shadows is pretty good. That is it for today, guys. So guys, let me know down in the comments below what you think of my rankings. I think my top 5 palettes and my bottom 5 palettes are definitely different palettes than a lot of people own in their collections, partially because 3 of them are from subscription boxes, or 4 of them are from 6 of them are from subscription boxes. That's hilarious. If you're really interested to know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are down below, if you have used any of these palettes, if you're interested in using any of them, don't forget before you leave, if you enjoyed this video, to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you're into beauty related content. That is all for today, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one.